Hello my people, Finer Bub here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today, talking about the full moon party. Alright, welcome to part 2 of the Thailand travel series. In part 1, we covered the northern Chiang Mai province, so if you missed that video, you can click somewhere around here for that. For your convenience, there is also a link in the description. Without further ado, let us begin. A few tips for the full moon party. Number 1, get a neon colored shirt. Just don't get too attached because you will probably rip it or lose it or destroy it in some other way. Bumba put paint all over his. So yeah, you do whatever you do. Maybe just buy 2. And don't worry about where to get the shirts and everything. They sell all that in the town, and if you go to Chiang Mai first, like I did, there are a ton of night bazaars. I got all kinds of shirts. The haggling is so much fun. So if you go to these night bazaars and these markets and stuff, you're bartering with nickels and dimes, and you could just have a field day. 30 baht, 60 baht, 40 baht. Sold! There's a lot going on during the nights leading up to the full moon party that, in my experience, was much more enjoyable than the actual party because there were less people, a little more intimate, wasn't as crazy. The party itself is absolute mayhem. There's like the main club on one corner that's like a big stage on the beach, and then there are bars lining the entire beach that are each playing their own music, so you can sort of like enter these different atmospheres, and then there's like the whole town behind it. I basically just decided that I was going to drink a lot of caffeine, strap my GoPro to my chest, and just walk around the entire night and try to see as much as I could see. And that was great. I had a great time. Tip number 2, don't panic.
If I lose you, I love you.
You could easily spend all night looking for your friends and still not find them. If you lose your friends, just relax, enjoy the moment, drink a responsible number of buckets, and don't drown in the ocean. Tip number 3, protect your belongings when you're in crowded places. Get a money belt. This applies to all of Thailand, but especially during the full moon party. I caught at least 3 guys with their hands inside my pockets. They weren't even discreet about it. The money belt definitely helps. Bumba got his wallet stolen because he didn't use his. Luckily, he was able to get stuff shipped to him at the next island we went to, but I'm sure we'd all rather not have to deal with that if it can be avoided, and it can with a money belt. I rest my case. The added benefit of using one is that you can just wear gym shorts and swimsuits. I brought a pair of hiking shorts with me that had some cargo pockets with zippers and things like that, but I found that I was much more comfortable in the humidity with just gym shorts or a swimsuit, and I'd wear the money belt, which just gets covered by your t-shirt. Passport copies, driver's license copies, global entry. Get on that. Definitely bring some photocopies of your passport, put them in a little Ziploc baggie, stick them in the money belt, got a little extra cash, and copies of your ID. If you watched my previous video, I mentioned that you should book your full moon party accommodations right after you book your flights because they tend to fill up quickly. Tip number 4, plan to stay on the island for a couple days, give or take, on either side of the full moon party. A lot of the hostels and hotels around Haad Rin Beach on Ko Pha-ngan will require you to book a minimum of, I think, 4 nights. It's gonna be a little bit more expensive than when you're used to paying in the rest of Thailand, just because during the full moon time period, they just jack up the prices because everybody wants to go and they know people are gonna go anyway. So they do charge a little extra and they do make you book more nights than you might want to. The island is a little bit more expensive than the rest of the country, but it's still super cheap compared to anywhere else in the world that you're gonna travel to. If you're pressed for time, some people just pay for the extra days that they were required to book book, consider it a sunk cost, and they just bail. Look, you're paying a lot of money to fly all the way to Thailand. If you're pressed for time, it's not worth it to just sit around if you want to do other things. You should do as much stuff as you possibly can. The experience is much more valuable. I actually didn't mind staying there for a few days. Having a recovery day was nice. The hotel we stayed in was great. It had this awesome view of the cove, and you had to walk down this crazy staircase to get to the water and then walk on this rickety wooden bridge thing that led straight to the beach. All in all, I was glad I went to the party. It was certainly a spectacle to behold. You will meet a lot of people in Thailand with large bandages covering one of two types of injuries. Either they fell off their moped or they got burned by the fire rope. Please be careful, people. I take no responsibility for your injuries. It is hard to resist, so if you do go for it, just remember that it's much harder to jump when you're on sand compared to your typical recess yard hopscotch court thingy. Unfortunately, I have once again overestimated the amount of content I can squash into one of these videos. So the rest of the series will continue in part 3, which will cover more of my adventures in the southern islands of Thailand and why you might want to skip the full moon party if you'd rather do something like scuba diving or cliff jumping, especially if you're short on time. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe for part 3. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Linda!
Good luck. The next day we rode the mopeds we had rented back to the port and hopped on the ferry to Ko Pha-ngan.